And we still have today, tomorrow through to Sunday. So it's a lot of fun throughout the period. But today we are having a conference. And today we are looking at how to empower the youth and women, green living opportunities for Ghana's youth and women. I'm very excited that we are bringing people like you who are already in school and studying, and so you are able to relate to this. And this is very important, and I'm sure we'll get right into it. But we want to start with a word of prayer, and then I will introduce myself and the rest of the guests we have here in our midst. Is Miss Louisa here to help us? Yes, let's welcome Miss Louisa with a round of applause.
Thank you. Let's close our eyes. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for today. We thank you for bringing us here, even together, to celebrate even your earth. We pray that and commit everything into your hands, that every nugget of wisdom that will be shared by our speakers will stay along with us and would even put into practice. We commit the entire show into your hands, and we say that may you continue with us even to the very end. In Jesus' name have we prayed. Amen.
Amen. Give it up one more time for Louisa. Thank you so much. So now that God is in our midst, we can start. There's a report I came through. My name is Eton Amse, by the way. I'll be your MC for the period. And I'm sure most of you are from University of Ghana, Agric Department and Boti. So as and when I get to know you, because I'm sure you'll be asking questions. Yes? Okay, so this conversation is towards a bigger picture of ensuring that we have a greener, healthier, wealthier, and a more beautiful Ghana. Can you go with me? Greener, wealthier, healthier, and a more beautiful Ghana. So if you're not taking anything away from here today, that should be with you. Okay? So can we go again? We are going to have what? A greener, healthier, wealthier, and a more beautiful Ghana. Give it up for yourselves. Okay, so there's a report I came across, a World Bank report. It says that gender inequality in the workforce is an issue that affects women globally. And women account for 60% of all jobs globally, but earn only 10% of all income. That's why it's important, the theme we've chosen for this conference, that we are bringing in women and the youth, because it's important that we empower women and the youth to take advantage of our flora and fauna so that together we can be richer. Yes? Yes, you agree? Okay, so we are going to get right into it. Let me welcome the Executive Director of the Ghana Garden and Flower Movement, who is also the CEO of Strategic Communications Africa, Madam Esther Koba, to warmly welcome all of us officially, and then we'll get down straight to business. Let's welcome her with a round of applause.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I guess I'm well away from you. I'm quite socially distanced, so I can take this off. Is that okay? How are we feeling? Hello. I like positive energy. Give me some positive energy. Give me some vim. Give me some vim. Give me some vim. When you see that I'm active and all that, it's because I'm tapping into other people's vim. So if I don't get it from you, then I'm in trouble. Let me put this here, this new attire that we have. And let's repeat what Etonam said. A greener, cleaner, healthier, wealthier, 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 wealthier. You like that? Wealthier. More beautiful Ghana. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to have all of you here. Madam Kosiyanke Aye and Aye and Madam Josephine Nkrumah. I'm so glad that she's here because she's going to take this information and propagate it. She is the head of National Civic Education, right? So this is going to go very far. We're really delighted to have all of you here. And once again, we have the conference as an important part of the Ghana Garden and Flower Show. each year, since 2013, when the movement was established, the conference has created a platform for knowledge sharing relevant to floriculture and horticulture. And it has been a very stimulating and thought-provoking aspect of the show. In fact, people think I like plants. Yes, I do. But I love the conference because what people don't know is that I have been able to sustain and grow this movement because every year I sit at the feet of knowledgeable people and I learn. I learn. It's a university of the world, and I like to attend every class in that university, and this conference is one of them. So this conference, this year's conference, I assure you, it promises to be in the same vein, learning, letting you have fun. And we are honored to have some excellent speakers to lead the conversation. I have already mentioned Madam Kosi Enchua Yankee Aye. She is our keynote speaker. She's so young, she's so young. You think that she's one of you here, but she's a little older than you, much older than you. They couldn't have chosen a better person to help generate employment for our youth and keep our youth excited and feeling that they can innovate. We also have Jeffrey Boache Appiaje. Jeffrey, I'm proud to say, was the first winner of the Israeli Green Innovation Award. So don't take this lightly. As part of the Ghana Garden and Flower movement, every year, the State of Israel, the embassy in Ghana, organizes a competition for young people like you who come up with green innovations. And you present on Sunday. You should all come. They'll be presenting. And we choose the winner. And guess what? The winner gets an all-expense-paid ticket to go and see Jesus Christ. And if you care to see them also, Elijah, Elisha, Moses, those of you who want to see prophets and are going for all night, this is the competition for you because you will go and see them live and alive. Okay? So every year we do this. Jeffrey won it the first time, and he went to Israel, the Holy Land. Give him a clap again. And then, is Joseph joining us? Is Joseph Amu hey, there he is. Joseph Amu, he will also be speaking. He currently serves as the officer in charge of risk governance and coordinator for environmental sustainability and social risk in finance at a big bank, Stanbic Bank. And make friends with him. These people, they know that when the last tree dies, the last man dies, and they will not have any money in the bank. And therefore, they are keeping us alive by supporting sustainability. Every year in January, they call us to come and collect money so that we can do this. He's a good person to know. So say hello to him. I hope you brought enough cards. They are an amazing bank. They are an amazing bank because somebody is nodding. They don't just care about you bringing your money. They care about your livelihood. Thank you so much. And then, this young lady who amazes me. Every morning I wake up, she's up to something new. I think, oh my goodness, does she sleep? Oh, she sleeps, she dreams, and she has visions. Alberta Akosa, Agri House Foundation. Clap for her. She's doing amazing, amazing, amazing things, and she's very young. I'm younger than her, but I look older than her. When I grow up, I want to be able to do some of the things that you're doing. I admire you so much, and I want you to be my mentor. The conference and the whole show have had an important purpose from the very first show, as I said, in 2013. Gardens and flowers have a significance for human life that so-called modern lifestyles often make most of us forget. We tend to take our environment for granted until we encounter crisis situations. When there are floods which cause havoc to people, including loss of life, or when illegal mining destroys our water bodies, we get jolted into action. But a lot of damage would have been done by then. A lot of us build houses, we cement all around, forgetting that the water has to have a place to seep to. And there's nowhere for it to seep to. And so there are floods, and our relatives die. And we call somebody to bring aid. And we cry, and we blame somebody. Each time you're building and you're only putting concrete all around you, each time you're throwing litter whilst you're sitting in a bus, or even eating kenke or other pure water, drinking pure water and putting your pure water plastic out there, remember that you are contributing to the death of another Ghanaian. When there are floods and people die, cast your mind back. You contributed. I say that with no excuse, because it is the litter that we put around, it is the concrete jungle that we create that help to create those floods. Let's stop the floods. Let's stop people dying during the rainy season. Ladies and gentlemen, since establishing the Ghana Garden and Flower Show in 2013, Strategic Communications Africa Limited, Stratcomm Africa, has sought to use our communication expertise to draw attention to these important environmental issues. Promoting a greener, cleaner, healthier, wealthier, more beautiful Ghana is, however, something all of us as Ghanaians must embrace, not only in our minds and in words, but more importantly, in our actions and behaviors. The issues of the environment have also become recognized internationally as crucial to our future. And that's my future. As crucial to our future, as human beings, and climate change have become a subject of great importance, affecting the decisions not only of governments, but also communities, businesses, individuals in all parts of the world. We in the Ghana Garden and Flower movement are inviting, and we are passionately inviting Ghanaians to change our attitudes and behaviors such that we conserve and enhance our God-given natural endowments. And here, I would like to pause and speak to all of us who believe in a supreme being. Those of us who believe in our God. When we read Genesis, he tells us that he created plants that are pleasing to the eye. Those are flowers. And for food, that's Genesis chapter 2, verse 9. And he created the world as a garden, and then he put another garden in it, Garden of Eden, before putting human beings in. So if the God who created us created the world as a garden, and then he put us in a garden, then gardens are really important. We also see Jesus the Christ himself. When he was under pressure, just before he went to the cross, he went to the Garden of Gethsemane. What are we doing not living and flourishing in gardens? If we do this, it will improve our own lives. It will make us healthier as we live in clean and beautiful surroundings. Green living is a choice of lifestyle that reduces negative environmental effects. It is part of the aspiration of the movement to help Ghana realize the UN Sustainable Development Goals, UN SDGs, as they have come to be called. These goals are encapsulated in the 5 Ps, namely people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. When all young people have jobs, there is peace. There are jobs in floriculture. There are jobs in horticulture. You can generate partnerships in these job opportunities in floriculture and horticulture. My dear young people, this year's conference, the theme of this year's conference, Green Living, Opportunities for Ghana's Youth and Women, is highlighting the fact that the lifestyles represented by green living is also about creating opportunities. We know that job creation and income generation are major concerns for the youth and women particularly. These days I'm hearing a lot, after national service, what? After national service, flowers. After national service, horticulture. After national service, vegetables. And I can tell you, I'm not telling you this because I'm just saying it. When I was doing my national service at Presec, I had a garden. I did not buy any foodstuffs. I ate from my garden. I only bought protein. And it kept me really slim and trim because I was exercising in my garden. After national service, gardens and flowers. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to negatively affect women and youth, floriculture and gardening in general have tremendous potential that could be leveraged by the country's youth and women. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to educate the young people and our women about opportunities in the industry. This year's conference will therefore provide a platform for this education. Say hello. Say hello. Okay. Thank you. Here. Thank you very much. I am sure this conference will result here. Here. I'm sure that this conference will result in practical and concrete outcomes for youth and women. Ultimately, such outcomes depend on each one of us using the knowledge we acquire to make decisions for our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, before I sit down, I want to stress on the more beautiful Ghana. A lot of us want to go to Yankee, right? We watch TV and Yankee looks good. We actually think that it is greener on the other side. Who made it green? They did. Let's purpose in our own minds and hearts to make Ghana a better Yankee. We can. And that is why Stratcomm Africa took pains to gather you and bring you here. Clean your ears. I've seen some of you have taken out your books and your pens. I salute you. Write. Tap into this knowledge. And next year, come here and tell us the amazing things that you have done. The miracles that we are going to all nights to see are in us. Let the Holy Spirit tap into the talents that God has given you and the resources around you to show the world that there is power at work in you. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Madam Esther Koba. Towards a cleaner, greener, healthier, and she's passionate about wealthier. So let's go, wealthier. Right. All right. So another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. So this conversation, like I said, the bigger picture is ensuring that the youth and women take advantage of the many opportunities that we have within the within our flora and our fauna. And so I really, really am excited about the conversation we are about to have. And let me start by introducing our guests who will be speaking, our speakers who will be taking us through the theme for today. I'm sure most of you know Madam Kosi Yankee. She became very popular last year. How many of you heard? She became very popular when COVID happened in March. And after that, government set up what we call the NBSSI, now GEA, the National Board for Small Scale Industries. That's because when COVID happened, you don't know Madam Kosi Yankee, you know her. Don't worry, when she comes here, you will know. So when COVID happened and the NBSSI was set up, there were a lot of concerns about disbursement of funds because government had earmarked some funds to be given to businesses that were struggling, i.e. the hospitality industry. And people said we hadn't received the money. Sikando Waheng, I remember several times hosting it on Business Focus on TV3 and she trying to explain. So when she was able to go through what she went through, I knew that this is a woman, a force to reckon with. And so, and I know she's very passionate about the youth and job creation. And I'm so excited she's here because I remember 2 weeks ago, I gave her a call. I wanted her to come on our show. And she said she was on maternity leave. So when I saw her here, I realized that this man is really passionate about women and the youth. So for her to leave the comfort of her home, she's on leave, and for her to be here, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Madam Kosi Yankee. Mrs. Kosi Nchua Yankee Aye is the first person to head the Ghana Enterprise Agency, formerly the National Board for Small Scale Industries, where she was the first female executive director. GEA is an agency under the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Ghana mandated to strengthen and grow micro, small, and medium enterprises. She also serves as an advisor on the Ministry of Finance's Advisory Committee and is a board member of the Accra Digital Center as well as tech member for various economic committees. Mrs. Yankee Aye graduated from the Harvard University, USA, with a master's in public administration and public policy from the John F. Kennedy School of Government, where she received the 2016 Excellence Award for Academic Distinction and Distinguished Contribution to the Edward S. Mason Program. Over the years, Kosi has founded and led the strategic development and growth of various projects for both international and local partners, some of which have gone global. In the past 7 years, she has raised and managed over $300 million and developed different entrepreneurial programs to support entrepreneurs, job creation, and micro, small, and medium enterprises in Ghana. She received her BA in government from the Wesleyan University, Connecticut, USA. She has a certificate in market access for sustainable development and sustainability And she has a 2-year program on acceleration and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, let's welcome Madam Kosi Yankee. She will take her seat, and then I'll introduce the rest but she will start. Thank you very much. Let me also welcome the second lady. I love ladies in a good way. Miss Alberta Nana Echa Akosa is a great advocate, like Mami said earlier. She's an intervener, initiator, and an implementer. She's passionate. She's a passionate promoter of the agricultural industry and a tiller of the earth herself. Alberta is the founder of Agri-House Foundation and Agri-House Communications. I'm the lead initiator of all the highly impactful interventions that the organization spearheads. She's passionate and committed to making sustainable and measurable impacts within the sector. And her biggest satisfaction is to see all farmers and value chain actors happy. Over the past 5 years, she has led her organization to make significant contributions to the development of the agricultural sector in Ghana through advocacy, competence-based training skills, leadership development, beginner agribusiness setup, and market linkages for sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Alberta Nana Echa Akosa. Now let's go to the men. Jeffrey Apieje. Jeffrey Apieje. Abuachi Apieje is an agricultural technology entrepreneur from Ghana with a passion for building sustainable agribusiness in Africa. Jeffrey is the co-founder of 3 agriculturally oriented companies, Say E-Tech Company Limited, Tech Shelter, and E-Cooler Ventures. Jeffrey studied agricultural engineering for his undergraduate program at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Ghana. Jeffrey can be described as a man with tremendous zeal, priceless ambition, and one who believes in the capability and abilities of the African youth. He is of a strong opinion that there's a great potential within every young person to effect the change we desire. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Apieje. Let's welcome him. And our last man, but not the least, can sit anywhere between the ladies, I'm sure. All right. Our last gentleman is Joseph Amo Eje. Joseph currently serves as the officer in charge of risk governance and coordinator for environmental sustainability and social risks in finance at Stanbic Bank Ghana. Joseph started his career with Stanbic Bank in 2013 as a credit risk officer, a position he held till 2017 before assuming the role of risk governance and coordinator for environmental sustainability and social risks in finance. Joseph holds a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Ghana and is a past participant of Oxford's Side Business School's leading Sustainable Corporations program. He also holds a certificate in securities trading and investment advisory from the Ghana Stock Exchange. He is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission as an investment advisor. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Amweche, let's welcome him. So we'll start the conversation and I'm sure that it will be very engaging because you're expected to ask questions. So we invite our very first speaker, who is our keynote speaker, Mrs. Kosi Yankee Aye, to start the conversation for us. And we are talking about green gardening and how to ensure that we are empowering the youth and women. So let's welcome Mrs. Kosi Yankee Aye.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me, Auntie Esther. I know that every year you make it a point to invite me to share a few words with your participants and experiences as well. And I'm very proud of what you've been able to achieve. Very often I hear people say, I want to start something. And when they start it, they never see it to the end. And it's very interesting that for the past 9 years, you've been doing this, and you've been able to achieve so much with it. And I think it's the importance of the story and the journey you've been through. which a lot of us need to learn from. So I would say a big congratulations to you, and I think she deserves a round of applause. So when you called me a couple of days ago and you said, Kosi, you have to speak, I didn't hesitate at all, because I knew that it was for a greater and a bigger purpose, and something that would change the lives of many, many people. And I like the theme for this year, which is a cleaner, greener, cleaner, healthier, wealthier, and more beautiful Ghana. For most of us sitting here, I think when we hear these words, we think about what has green got to do with me? What has clean got to do with me? And what is health if it's not my personal health? And what is wealth if it's not my personal wealth? But I think it's important, especially for the youth coming up, that all these things are very, very important. And most often we realize it when it's later on in our lives. But it's important that as we grow up and as we're coming up, this really becomes synonymous to who we are and what we want to become. For most of you who are sitting here, I know you're from the Agri department from the University of Ghana. And for some of you, you didn't want to take that course. You were thrown into it, right or wrong? How many of you wanted to go into agriculture? You wanted to. But really, for most of you, you were thrown into it. But one thing I've come to realize is that you're not thrown into things just because. Nothing is an accident. Everything is for a reason, and there's a purpose behind it. And I say this because of our story. And I would like to share that. I'm actually a storyteller. I like to tell stories when I'm sharing experiences. And I'll tell you my story, which then will help you and guide you. Nothing in life is what it is. And for many people, they ask me, why are you at Ghana Enterprises Agency? And how did you get there? And it's important to know that I just did not get there. I think it was a plan God had. There was a higher person, and it happened. And so when you're put in situations where you feel that, why am I here? Don't ever look at it as it just happened. Ghana Enterprises Agency is an agency that was just set up. It was set up last year. The president assented to it in 2020, December. And it's something that happened not just in one day. It took 4 years. And it had taken 20 people 20 years to get to that point. A couple of years ago, after I'd finished university, I started my career on Wall Street. I was a banker. I did my degree in government. And people wonder, why did you do government? And if I tell you why I did government, it was because I hated econometrics. And so to get the economics degree, I needed to pass econometrics. And I just didn't want to take econometrics. I knew if I did, I would pass. But I just didn't want to study for it because I had to sit up. And I like lying down to study. So I did not do econometrics. So I ended up with a government degree. But I love the government courses as well, the political science courses. I like the topics. I like learning about democracy. I like the philosophy behind a lot of the, conversations that happened. But I ended up with a government degree. But then my first year out of school, I worked for a bank in New York. It was called Deutsche Bank. And I was a structurer, which meant I would structure transactions for various partners, various governments, for Boeing, Bombardier, all these different big international corporations. And I told my mentor one day, and I think that's how you should see Auntie Esther. She's a mentor. She's sharing so much. She's imparting so much, even for me. And I told my mentor I wanted to go back to Ghana, but I wanted to work in microfinance. I wanted to do development work. And he said, oh, that's interesting, because Deutsche Bank at that time was setting up the first microfinance fund that an investment bank was setting to support microfinance institutions around the world. Now, the first lesson in that is I told someone what I wanted to do. So when it came time, if you don't tell people what you want to do, how are people going to know how to help you? So I told him, this is what I want to do. So he helped me by telling me what the bank was doing. And fortunately for me, we worked on designing this first fund. Then he said, find a microfinance institution in Ghana that you want to support and would help you. At that time, the system was so difficult, we couldn't find any microfinance institution to support. And that's how it went. So a few years later, I said, I'm tired. I want to go back to Ghana. I had lost touch with people in Ghana. I wanted to come back, and I was so passionate about this nation. So I came back to Ghana. When I came back to Ghana, I planned to go to school. And once again, I remember telling someone, I need you to write my recommendation because, okay, I did government, I've done banking. I want to go back to business school. And he said, but what are you doing? I said, oh, well, I try to start this microfinance program. And he asked, how is it doing? I said, it's doing well. He said, then why do you want to go back? I said, I don't have money. I don't have a network, the network that would help me make it succeed. Then he said, well, so if you had the money, will you do it? And I think it's the second question you need to ask yourself. If you had the money, will you do it? Will you do what you want to do? Is that what you really want to do? And if I give you the money today, are you ready? And that's the other thing that most often we are not. I've seen a lot of you look outside, not look or pay attention. But are you ready? If I look over this way, the first person to give me eye contact might be the person who is ready, right? So are you ready for it? And I said, yes, I'm ready. He said, I'll give you money. I'll invest in you, and I'll make sure you succeed. He said, if you fail, great. Go back to school. If you succeed, continue to do what you're doing. So the other thing is, there's a possibility that you might fail. But when you're given the opportunity to come and meet people who can support your vision and the dreams that you have, you take advantage of it and you put your best foot forward. So when he asked, I already had a business plan. I'd already started what I wanted to do. And so what did he do? He invested in me. He invested in me. Yes, we moved it. It didn't get as big as I wanted to. And there are many reasons, and life goes on. But that didn't hold me back. I kept doing what I had to do. I kept supporting women businesses. And I realized that I had the desire to build businesses. So together with the program, we raised a fund, $15 million at that time. That was in 2007, at that time, to support youth in cocoa under a project called MASO, 15,000 youth. And when we designed the program, because of the passion that I had to support women and youth, the project asked that I go back to school. And at that time, I wasn't ready for school. But I went back to school. I went back to study. And I went to Harvard. I got into Harvard at that time and studied government again, public policy, and moved back to Ghana. But in school, I designed a program, and the program was on how do you get women and youth as a foundation to build businesses. And I built it on this institution that I had never worked with before, which was then the National Board for Small-Scale Industries. And today, here I am, running this institution and transforming that institution to what it is today, which is the Ghana Enterprises Agency. The Ghana Enterprises Agency really is very dear to my heart because I see it as that foundation for the youth, for you sitting here today. How do we transform your ideas, your dreams, your vision, and turn it into business? And as we stand here today, the focus is on horticulture and floriculture. How do we transform your vision, your ideas? How do we transform your degree? How do we transform it into a business? How do we transform it into something that would allow you to create employment for other people? And that is what is important. When you start looking at it, not just another degree, not just another job, but how do I use what I have to also transform the nation, to make it a greener, cleaner, wealthier, healthier? How do you create wealth for only yourself? You need to create wealth for others. Have you realized when you, let's say in some community, and we all have it, imagine you're the only rich person in your family. What happens? Everybody comes with their problems. But if you have 2 or 3, then you know you can spread it. So how do you turn your vision into work that will create wealth for you and others? Because you're going to create employment for others. And for me, I'm passionate about this. Auntie Esther knows that. That's why she drags me here. And I look at where you're going and the visions that you have, the dreams you've had. How do you realize it? And that's why we have institutions such as Ghana Enterprises Agency. Our work is to promote you. Our work is to give you the opportunity. Our work is to provide you the information. Since I took office in 2017, we've worked with over 700,000 people, out of which 30% are youth, 70% women. So you don't have an excuse, and you can't sit back and say, oh, I didn't know, or I didn't think I would get it. It's the technology age. You're in that era. You all have phones. You all have Instagram. You all see things you're not supposed to see, or you shouldn't waste your time on. But you spend so much time on it. So how then do you ensure that you're using that technology to find information that will build your life? How do you use that information at fairs such as this to build your future and the future of people who you will transform, whose lives you will change? At Ghana Enterprises Agency, when I went and took office, the budget for the institution was 19,000 Ghana cedis. All I was given was staff salaries and 19,000 Ghana cedis. But before I took that job, before I came into government, I'd actually set a goal. My dream was to raise $500 million to transform women and youth businesses in Africa. And it's very interesting to note that I have worked with my team to raise almost $500 million to support Ghanaian businesses. And this is because of the networks we build, the support we got. And for the first time in the history of the institution, I mean, we say Ghanaians, we don't like talking about money. But it's important to share it. That is because we had a vision, we had a goal, we had a purpose, and we worked towards it. Someone will say, it's because you're privileged. No, it's not that. People need to build and have confidence in you. And you need to have confidence in yourself for people to want to give you so much to do more. And once they give you and they see that you have the opportunity to change the lives of people, they'll give you so much more. Because I tell people there's so much money out there. It's just, what is it? What is your proposition? What is it that you're bringing to the table? And if you're able to show up at the table with something that makes sense, people will then give back to you. So take advantage of the opportunity. I was also very excited when Auntie Esther called me for a lot of different reasons. Because I realized the other day I was sitting at home and I said, I think I have one plot of land somewhere in Ebri. I think it was the first plot I bought when I was working in 2006. And it's been sitting around and I said, I want to plant flowers. I should come to this year's garden show. And I did a lot of reading on it. And I wanted to also have conversations. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to learn about plants, about the market, about the sector. It is $1 billion industry. Even if you ask for 10% of $1 billion, that's a lot. It's about 100 million Ghana dollars. Can you imagine if all of you were doing something in this sector that would build the sector, that would ensure that businesses were growing, that your businesses were employing more people? There are so many opportunities in this sector. The opportunities are wide and varied. You look at the entire chain, from those who plant, from those who do the seeds, from those who are planting the flowers and growing the flowers, from those who are exporting, from those who will aggregate the flowers. All along the chain, there's money to be made. So when you're given a course such as agriculture and you sit back and say, "Na we cry realize that you have a great opportunity. Pay attention to the world. Pay attention to the way things are going. When you take your phone every day and you look at it, don't look at it from the point of view as what's happening with the slave queens and the slave men. Don't look at it from the point of view that what is the latest fashion in town. Don't look at it as what is the latest Range Rover and how can I get it. But how do I use this medium to build on the sector? And if you pay attention, if you look at Instagram, It's people who work with their hands who are thriving. The economy is going to change. The digital economy will change the way we do business. It will change the type of jobs that will be available. So you go online and you see people who are growing crops, the green economy, those who grow vegetables, organic, non-organic, flowers, those who are planting trees, those who are doing all sorts of landscaping. That is the future. So take advantage of it. Don't sit back and say, I really didn't want this program. I see two men there, they are giggling and happy. One is in a blue and yellow shirt, now shaking his head. And I hope it's because he thinks that this is the future for him. Let's take advantage of opportunities. You're sitting without your mask. COVID is real. COVID is very real. You know me, I'm watching you. You're watching me. COVID is real. Let's take advantage of the opportunities we are given. Let's appreciate people like Auntie Esther who take time out of their busy schedule to ensure that opportunities are made available for the future of Ghana. The future rests with you. And I hope that you take advantage of the opportunity. I pray that you take advantage of the opportunities that government has put in place. Yes, Etonam spoke about the COVID grants. Oh, she harassed me on TV, but I was not going to allow her to harass me. I refused to. You know, under the leadership of the president, there was the CAP business support, 650 million Ghana cedis, which was shared for Ghanaians. And all those funds were shared. It was shared for Ghanaians, those in horticulture, people who did flowers, those who were building things. And the innovation that came out because of COVID is one thing that I can never stop talking about. Yesterday, I opened another fair which was for innovators, youth, who had come up with ideas to combat COVID-19. That is you. They are no different from you. What are you going to do in this space, in the floriculture, in the horticulture space? Are you the next people who are going to come up with the best irrigation tools to support the sector? Are you the ones who are going to come up with the latest breed of plants and seeds? The future lies with you. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. There are so many opportunities. Currently, through our work, we got a lot of support from the MasterCard Foundation. They also gave us 90 million Ghana cedis to support businesses, youth, and a focus on youth and women across the nation. Currently, through our interventions of funding, and not thanks to COVID, because we don't want COVID, 300,000 people benefited from access to funding. 70% of them were women. The beauty of it is, for the first time, women had access to financing than they had ever had before. And they came forward and they asked for it. So be bold and come forward and ask. Currently, we have other programs we are running, and I want to share it with you so that if some will benefit you. I asked my team to share a paper so that we can write your name, so when we have opportunities and programs, we'll reach out to you. We currently have the MOTAC, the Tourism Fund, which is supporting those in tourism. We have those, and also the COVID funds for SMEs, people who are in high growth businesses. And I believe horticulture and floriculture are part of the high growth businesses. It is the future. You don't only look at the export, but locally, now everybody wants flowers. It's your birthday, they give you flowers. It's your funeral, they are flowers. Graduation, they are flowers. Flowers bring joy. So let's take advantage of it. Let's take advantage of it. A couple of months ago, I gave a speech somewhere, and I ended with this, and I'll also end it here for you because I think it's important. Because as the youth coming up, you need to realize that you cannot rest. And it's an old nursery rhyme. And it goes, good, better, best. May I never rest until my good is better and my better best. So you can't rest until your good is better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Until my good is better and my better best. Another round of applause My takeaway, she says, passion. Be passionate about what you're doing, what you're studying right now. It may not be what you wanted to study, but you're there now, so be passionate about it. She says, are you ready? Do you really want this? So that if someone wants to support you, they want to be sure whether you're really interested in what you're studying and what they want to do for you. I'm sure you've written your questions. I have a question for her as well on your behalf, so that if I'm a youth and I need support, how do I come to the Ghana Enterprises Agency? How do I access funding? What are the processes I need to go through? I'm sure you would want to know, right? Awesome. So I've asked that on your behalf. So I'm sure she'll answer that question. Now that our keynote speaker just gave out her address, would want to go to our other speakers. Let's get to hear from the gentleman who visited Jesus Christ last year. Jeffrey PJ, we are told, visited Jesus Christ. And so let's welcome him with a round of applause. Let him tell us what the journey has been. He won the award last year, and I'm sure he has a lot to tell us. Let's welcome him.
Wow. I feel very humbled to be here. My name is Jeffrey, as you've already heard, and I really want to start by saying a very big thank you to the Ghana Garden and Flower Show, Stratcomm Communication, and as I say in my heart, Ma Esther, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you also for a big thank you to all our guests here that's also going to present to us. And it's a great privilege to be here. Anyway, so I'll be talking about technology and agriculture, my core area. And I may maybe begin with my story of what I do and how I got here. Basically because most of us are in the university. And my journey began actually in the university, and it further developed when I was doing my national service. So maybe you can relate better. So while in the university, I'm the kind of guy that was working with local artisans, trying to build machines, with the welding guy. So I'll be the guy you would find with the welder by the roadside who make gates, on a weekend at the university, trying to do those kind of stuff. But during my national service, I volunteered in a rural community without electricity in the northern part of Ghana, where I was kind of a missionary in the evening and a teacher at day. And that was when I decided to build machines, actually, because while I was teaching, one time I went to class and all my people were not there. Why? They were helping their parents in the farm. And I thought that we could make machines locally so that, so that the children will be in school. And that's how SATEC began. But, yeah. Okay. This is the presentation. We can move on to the next slide. So that's how we began by building SATEC. And later at the end of the presentation, I'll tell you a little more about what we do at SATEC. Yeah. So basically, if you didn't know, just a few research I did before coming, agriculture currently employs about 30% of our population, but I don't know if you have studied the trends. The trend has been declining, and I don't know how many of us here may want to do things the same old way that we've been doing it. If you've studied the trends also in the US and other places, there were previously many people farming, but it kept reaching to a very small number of people. And what has enabled this? Technology. Next slide, please. And for floriculture, it's actually shocking that the market right now for floriculture is over $42 billion globally. And it's growing at a 6.3%. So it means that if you are in this market, you know that the growth is assured, for the next years to come, and you are well to do. So if any of us want to start a business in here, you know that no, we are growing and we are sound and secure in that area. And I would like to present, Please move on to the next one. And the next one, please. The next one. Yeah. I would like to present some of the technologies maybe some of us could use, to further develop better and maybe do things differently than older generations have done it. I hope you are with me here. Yeah. And I think it's something we all want to do. So I was in St. Louis at Bayer office, formerly Monsanto, and I saw some greenhouses on their buildings. I thought maybe it was just, a few greenhouses that are, maybe they are just producing a few things over there. But I was shocked to know it was the greenhouses combined covered an area of, I think, 3 hectares. And it was on the roof. This is something I saw that, and I've come to know is part of a new technology that is happening. Now, greenhouse farming is very good for horticulture because while you are able to make the conditions that is needed for plants to grow and flourish. And particularly, you can now move into IoT, which Tech Shelter also does very well, where you can help save the planet, help make the planet greener by using the right amount of water that is needed to grow your crops. And so with technology like sensors, you can plant them in, you can have them in your farms and give the exact amount of the exact amount of water that is needed. You don't need to waste so much water that the plants don't need. So that is one of the technologies, of course, we have. And if you study, many of you, this is more in your area. So you know that plants need a certain amount of sunlight, and if you study into the details, you would have a specific UI light that is needed for growth. Actually, that's where the science is. If any of us is interested, also want to venture into these firms, there are firms right now that are able to give the specific UI light that you can turn it on for the plant to grow. So that can significantly cut short the amount of time it needs to grow. You need to grow your flower, because when the plant sees that light, it begins to work. It's daylight for him, and you don't need a night or day to do it. Maybe you may give it some time for it to rest, but you can significantly cut off that time, and that is also done in the greenhouse farming, and that's one beautiful technology along with the sensors that is out there right now in technology. Also, I'm sure we all know about drones and drone spraying and all that. Yeah. So you can have drones to, drone is not just limited to spraying. You can also have them take pictures of your crops and be able to tell the diseases that are affecting them and the others like that. Please, next slide. Next slide, please. All right. So we all know that, with technology, we can increase our productivity and make sure that we are efficient at what we do. I'll be concluding with what we are doing right now at SATEC. So SATEC is building smart agricultural machines that is improving the productivity of smallholder farmers. Our flagship actually is within the grain and legumes area with a multi-crop thresher that successfully separates the grains of all the major cereals we grow here in Africa: rice, maize, soya bean, cowpea, others. We didn't just want to make machines that are just hardware. Our machines also come with the software. So if right now you can look into your Play Store or Apple Store, you search for SATEC SMT, you'll find our app there that we use to track and monitor all our machinery. And it will amaze you that for a soya bean farm that previously it took women and children to do it in about 2 weeks per acre, our machine is doing this under 2 hours. Just under 2 hours. And this machine is made here right in Ghana. We make it with local artisans in Swami Magazine, in Wa, and we put all the parts and pieces together. By the way, the only thing we import is the engine, and it's just a part of it. Please, the slide again. I'll show you an autonomous harvester is in the pipeline we want to do. We want to get to a stage where most of us will now be having their farms, and all you need to do is pick up your phone, and get the machine to go and work for you. And so one of our concepts is this autonomous harvester that we are doing. I would like to conclude and say that with technology, we can definitely build a greener and wealthier Ghana. Thank you.
Jeffrey, thank you so much. Another round of applause. Jeffrey, you didn't tell us whether you met Jesus or not. It's a conversation for another day, I'm sure. All right, he hasn't been there yet. Okay, so we'll ask questions now. I want to know, Jeffrey, but do you have, how many of these machines do you have? Okay. Okay, over 14 currently in production. I'm sure, Madam Kusi, you're very excited about that, right? Yes, this is something that the GEA would want to support. But I would want to take questions from you. But first, I would want Madam Kusiyanki to answer the first one I asked on behalf of the students from the University of Ghana on how do we access funding or support from the Ghana Enterprises Agency. But I'd like to take a lot more. When she's done, then I would. If you have a question, just let me have them. And we are streaming live on Facebook on the Ghana Garden and Flower Show page on YouTube and also on Facebook. So you can go to that page and post your questions if you're too shy to ask them here. But I think it's good if you ask them here.
So the Ghana Enterprises Agency provides a number of services. One is business development support. They provide entrepreneurial support as well. We also provide technical assistance support and access to finance. So it's not only about financing. One thing I want to say is have the idea. Because most people think because I don't have the money, I can't do the work. So as much as possible, my point to most to you is have the idea, develop the business, and the access to finance will chase you and even come to you. Because we have people that we see and say, oh, we like the idea, maybe they can apply for this as well. So our offices, we have 190 offices across the nation. In your districts, we bring business development service to the district level. So in most district offices, or how do you call the MMDCs, we have an office within them. We also have our regional offices, which is within the regional, in some places, some regions within the regional coordinating council, okay? And so because it makes it easier for you to assess them. And then we also have our head office, which is just down the road here, which is right next door to Kempinski. So you can also find us online. You can also send an email. As I said, you are the generation technology. So use your phones productively.
Use your phones productively. All right, so questions? Okay. So you tell us your name and what your question is.
All right, thank you very much. I am Prince Okuma. I am from the University of Ghana. I'm the president of the School of Agriculture. My question simply is, you know, during Madam, is it Miss Yankee's presentation? Yes, good. I really love the presentation, and I must commend you for that. I have taken a lot, and I'm very sure my colleagues have done the same. The question now is, you made mention that at a point when you wanted to start a particular enterprise, or let me say business, you realized you were not having enough when it comes to resources to start that business. And so you again thought of leaving that to school. But someone came in, you mentioned to somebody that this is what you wanted to do, but you don't have money. And the person came in to assist you to start the whole business. My question is, you know, most often than not, we are told that you don't need to have much before you can possibly start a particular business or something. You can start small. So I want to know why you were not willing at that time to start with the little that you were having with you, but needed an assistance from someone who will give you big to start big. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think what I had said was I had started with the little that I had. So I did start with a little, it had grown, but I also felt I had to take it to a next level. And to be able to take it to that next level, it needed and required a certain resource. And I'd already put in place the plan. Because of time, so unfortunately I couldn't say everything in detail. But I also thought I had to go to school, and I had to go to school for a few things. You know, for most of us, we think going to school means just acquiring knowledge. But school presents a lot of things. It presents a network. The person sitting next to you is a network and a resource. How do you utilize each other? So you build on each other. And I felt and I knew that if I go to business school, I would gain some knowledge to build the business and scale it up. I would also build a network that could then eventually also help me access funding. Because accessing funding is not only the bank or your parents. It could also be your friend, family. It could also be a private, there's so many, private equity, angel investor. There's so many ways you can raise funding. So yes, I started with a little, and that's why it made it easier for me to raise the next level of funding, because I had started, I had seen the results, I had a plan, and so it made it easier for someone to come in to take it to the next level.
So I think the takeaway is that you need to start. You need to have a plan so someone can see what the vision is in order for the person to support you. Is that clear? Okay, so more questions. I want to see the females, the ladies ask the question. More questions. Mrs. Kosiyanki Aya would have to leave us, so ask a lot more questions so that she can leave. Okay. Your name and then.
Okay, so I'm Prince Charles. I have a question for Jeffrey. I wanted to ask if his machinery that he has brought up is readily available market, or is it depends on if you pre-buy or something, pre-order or something.
Jeffrey, is your machine readily available, or we have to pre-order for you to manufacture?
Yes. So for all our machines, we've not. This is the first time we will be even having machines before people order. We've had to have them pre-ordered. Basically, we've not had the funding to make the machines, to wait for somebody to buy. And because so it's customer driven. So people want it, then they pay your commitment fee, then we make it, then we take the rest. That's how it's been so far. We don't want it to continue like that, but that's how it's been so far.
Madam Kosi, I'll be very happy if you make a comment on that. So someone in the shoes of Jeffrey, what should be the step? You know, how do they approach the GEA for support, for instance?
So someone in his, where he is now, he can approach our business advisory center or our business resource center. And at the center, they would share information. They would ask him questions. They would understand the business. They'll tell him what we have. He can register with the business advisory center so we can have him in our database, so we share information. We share programs as and when they come on. Or if we have immediate support, we provide that support as well. So our business advisory centers are dotted across the nation, as I mentioned, 190, 37 business resource centers as well, and all the regional offices can provide the support.
So Jeffrey, that's hope to expansion. Because I also want to ask, so what's the cap regarding how much you are funding you're able to give either individuals or corporate institutions? Do you have like a...
It varies based on the program we have. And in a couple of months, I think you heard from government, especially with support from Ministry of Finance and the government, we're going to roll out a major youth program, a program that's really going to look at youth businesses under the U Bank that the Minister of Finance spoke about. So then there'll be opportunity for more. But currently we have different funds. Some can access as little as 300 Ghana cedis to as high as 500,000 Ghana cedis, depending on the size of your business and what your revenues are. Thank you.
So as high as 500,000 Ghana cedis.
And as
little as 300 Ghana cedis. Okay.
That's as if we have the funds available.
If you have the funds, that's an if, but there's hope. Okay, your name.
Please, my name is Vanessa. I wanted to find out if the funding that is given, is it in the form of a loan? Are you required to pay it back, or maybe there's some requirements you have to meet if you are given the funds? And also, at what points do I approach the GA? At idea level or business level, like business development level? Yeah.
Very good question. Please, did you get it?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can approach the Ghana Enterprises Agency at any level. So you can walk in and say, I have an idea. You can walk in and say, I don't have an idea. What do you do? Besides providing you with support, we also do a lot of regulatory support. And so if you need access to FDA, GSA, Registrar General, whatever it is, whatever the enablers are for us to provide for you, we try our best. If we have funding, in some instances, we'd even pay for it. And in situations where we don't, we'd also ensure we get subsidized rates from the agencies for you. So as much as possible, there's so much happening, as I mentioned. Last 4 years, over 700,000 businesses have received some support from us. A lot of women-owned businesses have also come to that. With regards to the funding, yes, some components are usually grant funding. Some are also loans, but at very, very user-friendly rates. So between 3% to 7%, because that is what government thought would be a good intervention to support business, especially during the COVID era, so you can build your businesses.
But at what point is it a loan and is it a grant? And then what is the spread?
As I mentioned, it depends on the type of program.
Okay.
So someone could, if the funding comes and says grant or not. Under the CAP business support, up to 2,000 Ghana cedis was grant funding, and above that was loans. So it varies.
It's not necessarily the same for the GA.
It's different. So you could get different support. Our goal at Ghana Enterprises Agency is to pool resources to support people. So when you pool in resources, different partners have different interests, they have different requirements. So based on what we're able to work with them, negotiate with them, and engage with them, then we provide it. We think it's important that people pay interest on the loans they take because it builds the habit. So you realize you're not being handed down, because most often than not, if things are handed over to you, there's a way you look at it. But if you know you have to work to make it happen, you also look at it differently. So it's important that you inculcate that in us.
Thank you. Any more? Okay, so I'll let you have the ladies. So far we have just one lady who has asked. Can you pass the mic?
Okay, my name is Kenneth. I work with Metro TV. So let's assume that I have the resources, but I need somebody to man it for me, and I don't want to do it myself. Can I walk into your office and you get me someone to do that for me?
Unfortunately, we are not a recruitment agency. What we can do, there are different institutions that do that. So you can go and maybe go to the YEA, they have offices for employment, and say you're looking for a type of person to work with, and they can put it in their database. But that is not my mandate. I can assist when it comes to job creation to see how we can put you in touch with other people, but it's not my mandate.
Okay, any more?
All right, thank you very much once again for the opportunity to speak. My next question has to do with it. I'm directing it to Mrs. Yankee. Yes, please. As students' organization or association, let's see, we have a project that we are running, which is reaching out to various senior high schools to encourage the young ones who are reading agric science, or let's say pure science, to take the agricultural science program very seriously, and anything that is related to seeing to it that, let's say, the plants or flowers are being protected around. But as an association, we cannot constantly run this on our own. And I would want to find out if your office as an organization or as a ministry assists students in such, or assists people in that regard to keep such projects running. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I think one thing I also want to impart, you know, we need to realize the mandates of various agencies and what we have to. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and you should continue to engage the youth, engage those in JHS and SSS to get into agriculture. But I'll be lying to you if I tell you that I can support you on that. I think that maybe the Agri Ministry would be better placed to provide support, or other governmental agencies, but we don't provide that support. Because I'm looking at the MSMEs that have started, or people who are looking at entrepreneurship. So your type, we can encourage and engage you to go into entrepreneurship, and create the jobs and create employment for people, for you to hire people. But we can't engage to support you with funding to go and support other people. We don't do that yet.
Okay, so I'll have the last question and then we'll end this session because Mrs. Kosiyanki would have to leave us. I want to know, do you have national service opportunities for people who are leaving the university? For instance, those who are in school right now, when they are done, is there a national service opportunity?
In all government agencies, there are national service opportunities. So it's important for people to do their national service. Is what they give back.
Okay.
So once they're done and they register, the national service will place them within various institutions as they go on.
So you will decide, they don't have to apply.
I decide on who comes to do national service.
Right.
I don't. They just place
No, I
people.
don't mean you as an individual. So for instance, if I'm a student and I'm leaving school and I want to do my national service with GEA, what's the procedure?
I don't know that procedure.
Okay.
I'm just brought national service people. So they can go to national service and find out. So at the end of each year, they just bring me people to work with. There are opportunities for internships, but I don't know the national service route if you have to go and do that. But
thank you so much. All right, a round of applause. Okay, Madam Esther would want to have the last question.
Contribute. One of the things that Kosi said that really touched me is the fact that she has been able to raise, she and her team have been able to raise so much resources. And I think that the art of raising resources is the ability to pitch, to have a passion for what you're doing and connect with the passion of somebody else who wants to extend their resources beyond the walls of what they can do. So I look at you, Mr. President of Agric, working with your team. I'd encourage you to do research and find out which organizations are willing to invest in young people like you to be able to work on growing the agri sector. You see what I mean? Because she has had to raise, and very often government only has so much money, and therefore you need to look elsewhere, because we often get disappointed because we're looking in one bucket and everybody's fetching water from that bucket. I'm very happy to tell you, and I say it in humility, that we have run the Ghana Garden and Flower movement from 2013 till now without a peswa from any government institution. We have used the passion of other people as a resource. So that is something. Resources are not only in terms of money. Somebody's passion can be your resource. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we'll go and have our next round of speakers, but I would want you to. Thank you so much, Madam Kosiyanki. You're doing amazing with the GEA. Thank you so much. We are grateful that you made time to be here. Okay, so we'll have our next speaker. I think it's important for us to know why Stanbic Bank is so passionate about green and gardening, and why every year in January, like Mami said, they would give us a call and say we want to sponsor. So let's welcome Mr. Joseph Amoeche, who's the Risk Governance and Coordinator at Stanbic Bank. Let's welcome him.
Thank you. All right, thank you. My name is Joseph Amoeche. I work with Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited as the Risk Governance Officer and the Coordinator for Environmental and Social Risk. Now, when Madam Aye asked the students present here, how many of you chose the program that you are reading, I think most of you didn't raise your hands. Let me assure you that at Stanbic Bank Ghana, it's not so much about the program that you read, but then the attitude that you bring on board. So we will tell you that we will hire you based on attitude, and then we'll train you for the skill that you need. All right? Now, when I started my national service in 2013 with Stanbic Bank Ghana, we were a number of service persons. So what will happen usually in the middle of the day is that the head of department will come around and then ask us how things are going and how we are doing. I quite remember anytime he got to me, I'll give him a positive sign and say, yeah, I mean, the work is fine. I'm making progress. I'm learning new stuff. But there was this lady there who will always be like, the work is too stressful. I mean, it's too tiring. We are not paid enough as national service persons, etc., etc. So at the end of the day, after our service year ended, some of us got the appointment, and what the head of department told us was that you are the ones who showed positive attitude. That's why we approved for you to work with us. So that's a bit of information for you. But then I don't work with the HR department, so I wouldn't be able to answer questions on recruitment and how you can get in. Now, I'll be speaking to you on the topic sustaining green enterprises and what Stanbic Bank Ghana is doing in this area. Thank you. Now, green enterprise refers to services, products, and jobs from a number of sectors that focus on sustainability, fewer emissions of greenhouse gases, and slowing climate change. The phenomenon of green enterprise and sustainability, though is fairly new in Ghana, traces its roots to 1987, when the Norwegian Prime Minister, Gro Harlem Brundtland, referred to sustainability as development that meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So when we talk about sustainability, we are trying to meet our present needs without compromising the ability of the future generation that are yet unborn to meet their own needs. Green enterprise and sustainability also emphasize the concept that actions of businesses involve and affect everyone and everything on the planet, and thus have responsibilities to the planet, people, and communities. In this part of our world where we somehow struggle to make good use of our waste materials, it is important to ask yourself, how can my business reduce waste at the source? What can we do to prevent pollution in our environment? The good news is that the businesses and students present here are the ones that can help change the narrative. As your business model aims at critically making careful choices that will benefit this generation and beyond, institutions such as the Bank of Ghana, commercial banks, and other credit-giving facilities are placing a lot of priority to green businesses. We see and appreciate the long-term impact your activities will have on the planet, and we are happy to support you. Now, as a bank, we have shown our commitment to supporting green businesses by being signatories to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the Principles for Responsible Banking, the Equator Principles, and more recently, the Bank of Ghana Sustainable Banking Principles. To help sustain green businesses, we are working to integrate sustainability and sustainable finance in our business to purposely serve our clients in this space. Currently, our robust environmental and social risk processes enables us to identify and mitigate any negative impact a transaction may have on the environment and the society. Now, let me also quickly add that there's a very topical career area in finance that is coming up, and that is ESG, environmental, social, and governance, and sustainability. We are increasingly looking out for experts and talents in this field. So this is an area that you can research into and try and take programs and courses around that. Now, the bank is in the process of developing standard products and services, such as energy efficiency revolving loans, sustainable trade loans and overdrafts, as well as retrofitting solutions, etc. So when you talk about green businesses, it's not just about the flora and the fauna. We are looking at any business that has a positive impact on the environment. We are looking at solar installations, we are looking at wind farms, we are looking at biodigesters, etc. We are willing to finance all these businesses. In line, and we do finance these businesses in line with the green loan principles. In the interim, we have bespoke structuring of green loan facilities that are done for our clients with the leverage expertise of the Standard Bank Group Sustainable Finance Team. Our latest offering is a 320 million Ghana cedi waste recycling facility across the country, for which client is yet to meet all CPs of the transaction. Across the world, green enterprises and issues of environmental sustainability are becoming a business imperative. As we deliberate on these issues here today, let us all be reminded that contributing our quota begins with being aware of the critical issues and how important it is for us all to make changes that ensures sustainability. It is my hope that this conversation will be the beginning of practical steps that guarantees the sustainability of green enterprises. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Another round of applause. So there's really something about agri and then the environment that you can take advantage of. You know, so you students studying agri in the university. So we'll go straight to Miss Alberta Nanecha Akusa. She's Executive Director of the Agri-House Foundation. We'll have her. And she's speaking on floriculture and horticulture enterprise development, experiences from women and youth-led businesses.
Good evening. Good evening. Mommy, thank you so much for the opportunity. My journey started in communications, and when I started, I always looked at Mommy from afar, and she's been a mentor from a distance. And the first day I got the opportunity to be on the same platform with her, on the Cosmos Energy, I shared with everyone, and I wrote a long poem to Cosmos Energy after. Mommy, you've been a mentor and a strong instrument into what most women are now, especially me, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. So I am going straight to share with you women-led organizations like mine, very young, energetic, passionate team, and what we are using our ideas to do in making impact within the sector. And at the end of the day, I think there are lots of key learnings to take home. And so I will basically relate it to, we have a number of projects. I think we've been working with some of you students in our boot camp. We run about 6-7 projects in the year. We have the Agri Students Career Guidance and Beginner Career Dialogue, with a boot camp that every year we camp students from the agri colleges and then universities. I think from Kwada, Sudan, Mango, Ejura, Ohio, Fair River, Swansea, University of Ghana, Central, you've all been participating in the 1-week boot camp. And we also have the Women in Food and Agri Leadership Training Forum and the Gold in the Soil Awards, which move from region to region, building data of women in the business and also training and building capacity, supporting them with inputs and some of the necessary equipment that they need. And then we also have the Livestock, Poultry and Fisheries Training and Trade Show, which basically seeks to ensure that the crop sector is in tandem with the livestock sector receiving equal attention. And within the last 3 years, I think we've trained over 800 people, if I'm right, to get into the livestock sector. And also we have the One Household, One Garden initiative that I'll be focusing on today. We have the Agri-Women Marketplace, which we do monthly to support the recovery of women who were very affected within the pandemic. So we've been running it for the last 5 months, and we bring women farmers, processors, transporters, those in aggregation, those into creative and everything together. And then I think we have the pre-harvest event, which is the leading market linkage for farmers and buyers in the country. It's been running for the last 11 years, and over this period, we've been able to link a great number of farmers, over 20,000, 30,000 to buyers, and that's what basically we do. For the last 4 years, we've been working with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, organizing the National Farmers Day. So basically, that's what we do within the space. And for students, I asked Akosia yesterday who my audience are. And I just want to, I'm just like you, who was able to bring my ideas to life. And so we are in a new age leadership where age, education, race is no barrier, but the courage to act. And that is what I wanted to take away, the courage to act. So I'll go straight to what we've been doing. We started the One Household, One Garden initiative when the pandemic was very high. And the government introduced the cooked food. And we are a very young team, and we were looking at what can we contribute. People were donating money and all that. But how can we contribute to sustainability, to a long-term goal that would influence and impact lives? And that is when we came up with the One Household, One Garden initiative. And we just had some seeds at the office, which we nursed, and we said, like, let's distribute across homes. Let's support them to have backyard gardens. And then let's see how there was panic buying, there was scarcity. And I mean, we just had to find a way to contribute to nutrition because we were thinking the government's cooked food was not very sustainable. And I think this is what we did with the project. We're able to come up with this initiative. So one is initiative, identifying a gap and coming up with a solution. And I think for people who followed it, it was very successful to a point. We had a lot of people signing on, over 600 homes signing on, but we were very limited with resources. Most of you recognize some of the students here. They are your mates from school, Sarah and Co from some of the institutions. They were volunteers who came on board. We had that TOT, and then they went to the households to also train them. So this is basically the training sessions and all that we were doing. We come to your home. We come to your home, and then we give you the seedlings. We give you the garden tools, and then we give you 1 kg manure, and then we come with the soil if you don't, the treated soil if you don't have, and then we support you to set up the backyard garden. After 2 weeks, we come and support you to transplant. And so basically that's what we were doing. And we are excited that that led to a national advocacy of people appreciating backyard garden, and we have contributed, and we are very proud that we've contributed to resilience building during that period, because if you go on Facebook and everything now, people are still championing the backyard garden. So we introduced 3 schemes. We had the wooden boxes, we had the car ties, and then we had the open back. So if you have an open back, we're able to set up something like this for you. And the only thing that people were paying for was the garden tool. So basically, it was more of a support to communities and to households. Hello. So these were some of the feedback. This campaign was also run, I think, 98% on social media. And it tells you the power of social media and how it can influence change. We launched the campaign, and then within a week, we had over 600 people signing on. It was like a shock to us. It was very overwhelming, but we are happy about the success. Most of you know Thomas. To date, we are supplying him with some of the seedlings and seeds that he used, and he started supplying his area. He lives around Sakumono, started supplying his area, his community with some of the harvest he was having from his farm. So when we come to your home, we were giving maybe green pepper, cabbage, garden eggs, lettuce, beetroot, the cucumber and broccoli. We give you the seeds or seedlings, depending on how you are able to manage it, and then you go ahead to manage it yourself. So these are all feedbacks, and this is how we're able to impact our households through the Home Garden Initiative. So these are all harvests from people who were sharing with us. They were very excited. And we are very happy that it has become more sustainable because people are still doing it. So these are basically home. We're very limited. As I said, we are a very young team, just like anybody here. We had very limited resources. We're having only one truck, which was basically for my mom, and then one official card, as you see there, that we were using. But basically, it was successful. Directly, we were able to set up 67 homes, and then indirectly, people were coming to our office at Jowulu to pick the seeds or the seedlings. Yeah. So these were the numbers. We have the data of all these people, and the social media campaign and all that. And so some of these things, if you start, you know, you need a lot of passion and commitment and drive to do them. And though we committed so much, we are happy that a number of development agencies have approached us to scale up the project. So we are going to introduce a new phase, and that is the essence of sacrifice and going after your dream. So it's very important as young people to appreciate what we have. We know about the talents. God gives 5, 4, 3, or 1 or something, and if you don't use it, he takes it back. So it's important that when you dream again. That is implementing it. So the media was all over reporting about it and all that. You can go. There was a lot of feedback. And then also, I think most of you know Obed. Obed is your senior, right? So he's been a beneficiary of boot camp over the years. We supported him to start the mushroom farming, and you know he's been doing very well with that. He's been part of all libations. So when we supported him, he now became our trainer. So during most of our programs, he serves as a trainer, and these are the opportunities that some of the students get. Some are working, some are just 2 months ago. It's just a month ago, some were recruited, and some are starting their businesses and all that, and all through the boot camp. So he was able to start a mushroom farm with just a little seed capital we gave him. I think it was just about 500 cedis, and he's been scaling up till date. And most of you may know he's now even gotten a scholarship. But through it, when we are in Tamale, he comes with us for our pre-harvest events and all that. He even got a lot of markets in Tamale, but he wasn't able to supply to all the shops, which indicates the interest within the mushroom industry as well. And these are all some of the students. This is James. This is James from Amanfrom Secondary School. We supported him to start a pineapple farm, and this is now he has employed and engaged his community. He's processing it, and then he's packaging as well. So this is just a young guy that we supported. And this is also Mohammed from the All Nations University. We also supported him to start his beans farm. He was into watermelon and everything now. And this is good money he's making now. Once in a while, he gets me a bag from the north. And it's interesting what these students are doing. I think some of you know about the boot camp, right? Most of you know about it. So, yeah, so these are all some of your peers who are influencing change within their communities and supporting and enhancing livelihoods. So, as I think I've mentioned that directly we supported 67 households with this initiative, and then indirectly we supported over 200 households. But most importantly, our success lies within the fact that we're able to put smiles on people's faces, and then we're able to champion an advocacy that has become a national call that is driving Home Garden now, which is basically building resilience. So, yeah, what's next for us? We are still supporting some schools within the Greater Accra with seedlings. We are still mentoring people like ourselves. You mentor me, I mentor you, to appreciate that there is really a lot of opportunities within the agricultural value chain. And we all don't have to go into farming. This is where our creativity and innovation comes into play. That what are we doing? What am I passionate about? And how can I turn it into results? If you can go into farming, you are good, you are better off. You can go into processing. So your colleague is into pepper. You can say, let me package it, let me dry it and package it, put my name on it. Alberta organic pepper, put it on the shelves. I can go into transportation. I think if you visit even the farms in Kaswa, just 2 months ago, we supported some of the women with tricycles. And there are lots of opportunities for logistics and mechanization. If you go to Bolga, most of the women are even, and even the smallholder farmers, they are renting knapsacks for 7 cedis. And how much is a knapsack? So when you are within your community, look for opportunities. You can say, okay, I'm done with school. What can I do? If you don't want to go into mainstream, I can say, let me set up. Ghana doesn't have any logistics and mechanization center across all the 16 regions. We don't have. And there's an opportunity for us to tap into. You can say, let me set it up within my community. Let me also go into the renting of the knapsacks. I think also earlier in this year, we supported some of the women with Wellington boots. And it will surprise you that some of them are renting it. When you go to Wale Wale, watermelon that I buy here for 20 cedis, I buy here that for 2 cedis. And there's been a call for a processing center. Here is in process. But this is our opportunity. Some of us are come from the north. How can we set up simple processing centers within? So let's look at the whole value chain and appreciate it. You know dawa dawa, and that's nutritious powder that you use to feed children. It's still been resourced on a very low level. How can we come together as a team and then explore opportunities, package it and all that? You look at the shea nut tree. When I'm in the north, it drops and I just pick it when it's dry and I eat. Very nutritious. How can we bring our creativity and innovative to play, package it, and then put it on the shelf? Because the nut itself is very nutritious. Some of us stay on social media all the time. We have a lot of women who are looking for market. There are lots of losses still happening. How can I say, let me explore from the Agri-Women Marketplace, from the Women in Food and Agri platform, and then come, take their products online and put it there and market for them. You get your commission because we are always online. And this is something that you are doing out of passion and out of drive, but I don't know, you are achieving some results. Some of us are very good in photography. Can I say, I go online and buy pictures for agriculture. People come to me and also buy my pictures. Can we create a niche that we are going to agri photography? Can we create a niche that we are going to agri documentary? Canada is sourcing my documentary. They want to pay for it. Yesterday, TV Africa, all of them were in my office. They want to pay for my Women in Food and Agri documentary and air it. So let's look at the whole cycle of the value chain, and let's say, what am I passionate about? Do I want to stay on the social media? How can I make something out of it? Am I a good talker? Can I market? So, and all that, and we know that we are bringing our innovativeness, our creativity into play, and then at the end of the day, it's fetching us something. But most importantly, we are making an impact, and we are contributing to growth, building resilience, and sustainability within the agri sector. So basically, these were the seeds we were supplying and all that. Some of the seeds that we're giving to homes, we branded this Agri House, and then we just come and give it to you there. So I think, like I've mentioned, we are in the new age leadership. Education is very important, but it shouldn't limit us. Race is very important, age is very important, but the courage to act is the key. And I think for us here as youth, we have demonstrated beyond reasonable doubts that when given the right mentorship, right direction, resources, we're able to bring our creativity and innovation to bear and to do something for ourselves. So we shouldn't take anything here for granted. My career path has been built just by admiring Mommy from afar. And that has been a huge impact on my life and for what I'm doing now. I started as a communications person. I never knew I'll create a path in agriculture. But here I am speaking to you on agriculture. Education wasn't a barrier. So that's why I'm saying that we are in the new age leadership where education and nothing can stop us from achieving our goals and dreams. Thank you very much.
Listen, I could listen to Alberta the whole day and I'll not be tired. Guys, are you encouraged? Like, just too many ideas. Like, I'm here, I'm just writing. I'm wondering, how come I didn't think about all of these? You guys are really rich. You those who are being trained in agriculture. She has a communication background. Look at what she's been doing. with her amazing talents. My takeaway from what she says growth, building resilience in the agri sector is the ish. That's what we should be looking at. She says the courage to act, identify the gaps, come up with solutions. Do you agree? Do you agree? And she's giving us a lot of ideas. So if you don't want to go be on the field, there are several things you can do within that space. You can be on social media. There's just so much you can do within that space. And I think she deserves another round of applause. So we'll take your questions now. I believe you have lots of questions for Alberta, for Joseph, as well as Jeffrey. Jeffrey is still here. So want to get right to it. Who wants to go first with the questions? Yes. There must be questions you would want to ask Alberta, Jeffrey, and Joseph about taking advantage of social media, taking advantage of the space we have to grow and make wealth. Okay, so let me be the first to ask. You were supplying seedlings. I saw Thomas at Adotepa because I work with him at TV3. So how do I get access the seedlings? Do I need to pay? How do I become a member of your movement? You belong to a group, right? So how do I become a member and how do I access?
Okay, so we've ended the first phase. We are about to commence with the second phase. So we are very active on social media, Agri-House Foundation. You could just follow us. The seedlings are for free, but we just come and then you sign on, you register, and then if we are within your community, if you are maybe at Spintex, we get there, we call you and come to your house, and then we support you to set that. If you want maybe the car ties or the wooden structure, or you have a bare land, we just support you to do it. But like I mentioned, we are getting support to scale it up. And so we are hoping that within the next few weeks, we should be able to conclude that, and then we would relaunch the second phase.
Yes, I'm interested. So how many are interested, guys? Yes. Mommy is interested in the wealth, and so I'm also part of the wealth. Okay, so it's not just about tilling the land. It's not just about planting seeds. It's about making money out of it. And we have the advantage of social media. So there's no excuse. Any more questions, guys? Stanbic Bank is here. He mentioned you want to say something. Awesome.
Ask a question.
Okay.
So for some of us who are not from agriculture background, after supplying us the seed, do you have any system in place to help us manage the seeds for it to grow and all that?
Okay. That's a good question.
So when we come, we do the training. So we come, that's when we schedule and come to your house. So we make sure that you are there. And then, when you are starting your backyard garden, it's better to have it in a very smaller space, maybe 1 meter by 2 or something. And then it makes for easier management. It's good for so the backyard is serving a lot of purposes. Actually, you get to exercise as well whilst doing turning and all that. And then so we just help you to do that, and then we follow up as well. Some people naturally are good to just start nursing it themselves, but for those who are not able to, we bring the seedlings, and then we set it up for you. After 2 weeks, we come and support you do the transplanting, and then we teach you, and then we give you a manual as well. So the manual is more of a very practical manual that you follow. If you have any issues, you just call us, and then we would. Yeah, but when you are coming back to your house the second time, you just have to pay the transport of the person who is coming. But if some of these, because the manual is there, it's just guides. And this is basic home garden, so you're able to really manage it. It's not very challenging to manage it. Yeah.
So what do I need to start? What do I need to start?
Just a backyard. You don't actually either. It can be even on your rooftop, in your window. You don't really need a big space to start a backyard garden. You can do anything, and it's also contributes to good oxygen. So it can even be in your hall, depending on what you are growing. Yeah.
Okay. Now the questions.
For those of you who have gone round the exhibition, you will see that we have something called an unusual garden. That's my favorite. That's my space in the exhibition. We actually have toilet bowls, old saucepans, apatoyua, coal pots, all that, and we plant in them. So that's what Alberta is talking about. people make the excuse that they don't have space. You can use, you'll see that we planted in an old pair of jeans. You can plant in almost anything. And so you just have to have the desire. And I must congratulate Alberta again on what she's doing, and also add that if you become a member of the Ghana Garden and Flower Movement, you'll see that in support of things like that Alberta and other people are doing, we also do master classes. Every quarter we have a master class. And then every Friday we give you tips on different flowers and vegetables sometimes. And you can also ask questions. We have a lot of agronomists who are willing to ask questions. People send us a lot of questions and we answer them. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will open to you. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, in the spirit of seeking, I have some questions. Yes? Okay.
My name is Shifa. Please, is the foundation just considering Greater Accra region, or the other regions are also inclusive?
Alberta, so she's asking whether the foundation is only in the Greater Accra region.
No, we work across. Actually, we never stay in Accra. I think we just have our office here, but we are always across there. We travel around. Like our Women in Food and Agri program, it's moved across from the Volta region through to Ashanti region, and we just returned from Bolga. And then I'm actually on my way to Cape Coast tomorrow. Then back, I'm going to North Tamale. So we are moving across like the country. We go everywhere. We are like always in the regions. We really barely stay in Accra.
Please, I'm Prince Charles. My question to Alberta, I wanted to ask if the list of commodities that you showed to us, those are the only ones that you are undergoing right now.
Okay, so the communities you have visited so far and what you're working on are the plants. Okay, do you, apart from the plants you showcase, what else?
Oh, so like I mentioned, we are in the space of agriculture and agribusiness. And basically our main focus is to change the mindsets and perception when it comes to agriculture and agribusiness, that we could all play a role within the sector. And like I mentioned, I had a comms background, but I realized within the value chain, when I realized that I have a passion for organizing, that within the value chain, it ends at marketing. And I went straight away to put projects there. So we just have to find our niche. So we work within crops, because like for the pre-harvest that we are working on in Tamale now, it's bringing maize farmers, yam farmers, rice, millet, sorghum, cashew, cowpea together. And what we do is to find the market for them. So like I mentioned, where is the gap and what solution are you providing? So there's been a lot of post-harvest losses. So then the pre-harvest, in the period when the farmers are harvesting, we try to create that market linkage. And within the animal agriculture value system, we have the livestock, poultry, and fisheries training and trade show, which we organize here as well. Basically, we train people who want to go into piggery, into goat farming, into snail farming, into cattle farming, and everything. And then not only that, but into processing, into building the housing for these animals. So we just try to get people to appreciate that the cycle is strong. You can go into feed, you can go into anything. And then when it comes to the women in food and agri, we're just trying to motivate a paradigm shift of projecting women who are in the sector. And we go to their farms and then we support them with some of their basic things that we could afford, or when we get support. So basically, we are working within the cycle. We are not limited. So far as it's agriculture, so far as agribusiness, so far as it's within the value chain, so far as it's making an impact, so far as an actor is involved, that's where we are interested in.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Alberta, for such an insightful presentation. My name is Desmond, and my question is this. You mentioned that you were into communication before. You mentioned that you were into communication before you ventured into agric. I want to ask, aside the passion for agric, what other factors drove you into making such a decision? And secondly, with such a venture, I believe one of the fears in such a venture is that there is not a ready market for it in our society. So how were you able to overcome such a fear? Thank you.
So I've not overcome my fears. I'm still within. Every day is a learning day for me. I'm learning every day. As I mentioned, I studied agric in school, and the most active I got in agric in school is when I was punished. I was a bit stubborn, so I'll go and weed, and that is when I really got involved. But like I mentioned, I started with communications, and in trying to find my path, you see, it gets to a point that you want to find your path and purpose and all that. You look at mommy from a distance and you admire, and then you want to be something similar to what mommy is and all that. But basically, I happened to find myself studying communications. And then when I came out, I chanced into the agri space. But, I'll go for a conference to understand it better. And then when I attend the conference, the jargons and the words I hear, I come back and ask people, what did they say? So I never understood anything. The GDPs, the percentages, plenty. So I'll never understand anything. I started asking people. And then communication too, at that time, it was honestly a very competitive market. That's not to say I'm afraid of competition. I said it's just the courage to act. But you have to also bring a lot of creativity and innovation to bear. But you see, these things I'm saying, I didn't get to know by chance. You learn on the field. So, I was attending all these conferences, and then I said to myself, why don't we try to break the value chain down? That is when I got to understand that there is a value chain system. So there is the production stage, there is the processing, there is the market linkage, there is the youth that we are always preaching that youth should get into agric, but we are seeing a lot of jargons that possibly we don't understand. So how do we get to appreciate it? And I believe that ideas are gifts from God. Mine comes when I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and write. And if you read the Bible, it's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. If you have a Bible, read. You write your ideas when it comes. So everything that we are doing is biblical principles. And you just come across it and realize that it's the divine direction. So I'll write it down, and I think for me, it's the courage to act. Whether there is money or no money, I was prepared to take calculated risk. And for me, one thing that motivates me most is when you tell me I cannot do it. Inwardly, I'll fight myself. I'll not fight, but I'll fight myself to, do it, because I know that it can contribute to something. But in the event of these things, you see, the ultimate is you want to be able to put a food on your table. But I think if you are into agric, you may be a bit mistaken if you are ultimately looking for money every day. That I want money today, I want to be rich overnight. It's service to humanity. It's passion. It's impact. And when I got to realize that it's more of an impactful journey, I sort of realized this is my path and this is my calling. And then I basically succumbed to that. But I'm happy that it's steadily paying off. It's steadily, and it takes a lot of, you need to be patient. It can't be an overnight thing. It's steadily, it's been many years. But now our project, we are there. We've not even sent concept notes or sponsorship out, and people will call us that bring your proposal. Do you have your 2022 calendar ready? We want to fund. So although we make strides in going out to look for funding, companies are also beginning to align and appreciate what we are doing because it's contributing something, and then they support.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Alberta. Alberta has been doing all the talk. Jeffrey, how does what Alberta do affect what you are into, your technology? And then we'll come to Stanbic Bank.
All right. This one I don't have to think about it because it always happens every year at the Agri House Pre-Harvest Show. Madam Alberta gives us the opportunity and the avenue for us to display our machines for thousands of farmers and industrial players. Players in the agricultural industry to see. And I think for 2 of those seasons, she didn't even charge us a penny for that. And I really want to say thank you.
Thank you, Alberta.
So many more like this.
How does that affect Stanbic Bank?
Okay, so listening to Alberta, I think she relies a lot on donor funds, right, and sponsorship. So not always. Yeah. Okay, so
we started, and that's what I want people to appreciate, that you don't, is the courage to act. That's the first thing. To take calculated risks is the second thing. To believe in your ideas, even when people are pulling you down. And these are my colleagues, these are my youth that we are speaking to. So they need that courage to act first before that comes in. And we are enjoying it because we realize that we have something. And like Jeff said, we've been journeying for a while. Some of the platforms, they are beginners like us. We are still at the beginning stages. And if they don't have the resources, I say, Jeff, come on board. You don't need to. So we give each other the opportunity. He was just advising me on something to do. That is a resource that I've gotten. I would have paid for that. But now we are getting the support because people have believed in our ideas. And these are ideas, these are God-given things that we should really work at. You know, it's good when you start off. We say some of us, we are favored instantly. Some of them, we have to prove that, look, this is what. So it's a journey. And that is where we come from.
Yeah. Okay, so for us,
Stanbic Bank is looking at funding, so please.
yes, so for us as a bank, as part of our corporate social responsibility, we usually have a percentage of our PAT, our profit after tax, that we use to support such activities. Yeah, so this, I think, is an interesting area that Stanbic Ghana wouldn't hesitate to sponsor.
Awesome. Did you hear that? So if you start something, Stanbic Bank is available to support you. You know, so there's no stopping.
Yeah,
there's no stopping
that
at
has
all.
A positive
Right.
impact on the environment.
Awesome. Thank you. Any more questions? Mommy wants to say something.
So you recall that I said passion is a resource. So she has a passion. She acts on the passion. But it is also relevant to society. And there are people who are willing to invest in the passion. So for those of you who read the Bible like she does, it says, I can do abundantly more than you can. According to the power that is in you, the courage to act. But I also want you to understand that communication is a major tool for development. She did communication. You can do communication and transition into agriculture, engineering, whatever field, because communication is essential for human existence. So if people are studying communication, they should not limit themselves at all. You can move into any field in this world, and as long as you are willing to learn, And those of you who are not in communication, you should know that you need communication to be able to make your profession make expanded impact. Look at what she's doing. She's bringing people together. She's not in the end doing all the technical agricultural work. She's using her communication expertise, passion, relevance, the importance of communication as a tool for development.
Awesome. We'll take any more questions from you. Okay, we'll take that because we're just about wrapping up the conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, I want to ask once again, how can I make something like a hobby? Let's say I have a hobby in planting flowers, growing flowers. How can I make that hobby a part-time business? Aside maybe my full-time business that I have, how can I make that hobby into a part-time business? Thank you.
Okay. You want to make it a part-time business? It's not a challenging question, but it's very challenging. I think some of these things, I don't know if Jeff can answer, but some of these things, they come very naturally, honestly. I don't know, it just, honestly, I don't know, I can't. But I think you can make it a part. If you have an interest in the plants, and you want to, you just have to continue to nurture it, you study it, understand it, and try to introduce it to other people as well. Some people may be interested in it. It really depends on the kind of plant as well. If it's vegetables, you know that you could supply to your community. Like I mentioned, some of the people who got into the backyard garden, they were selling within the people, for the people within their community. That was part-time business. I've mentioned about Obed, who we supported with the 500 CDs, and now is producing more that you are all witnesses to. And majority of them, All Nations University, we only gave him a fertilizer and some seeds. And that is where he is with his 2 acres of farm. For James, we gave him fertilizer, and then he found the pineapple shoot himself, and he's in business. And every year he comes for the mentorship program that we do. So I think just see what business you could create around it there, and it can be something that you could start with, steadily growing, and then growing something, scaling up into something else. Okay.
Okay, Alberta, I think there's someone here who has an answer for the question. Madam Jane Jechi is the former head of HR for Multimedia Group, my former boss. A round of applause.
Thank you. So that was an interesting question. Actually, I've been doing flowers and growing plants for the last 15 years as a passion and a part-time business. So it started just as a passion, getting my house looking nice. Then I started making small arrangements for my office to decorate. Then suddenly I thought, well, why not? So I started to sell it for little amounts of money, 20 cedis per pot, and just pushing it on Facebook. By the way, social media sells a lot. So I'm always in my full-time job, but in the night, through social media and Momo, I do all I take my orders sent by Uber Connect, and there you go. So you don't have to stop whatever you're doing as full-time. I'm into human resources. I've been for the last 22 years. But I've also been doing flowering and gardening for 15 years. So it's very easy. Just connect with communication. As Madam said, connect it with the communication tools available. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Jane Jechi. Let me take this response and I'll come back to you. Okay.
Yes, so just a contribution, yes. Okay, good evening. Good evening. I think probably this was not really meant for me. Auntie Esther invited me, but I'm probably one of the biggest beneficiaries here. I'm so inspired by the young panelists here and the passion and drive they have for what they do. And I think you young ones here, you've had an amazing opportunity. A lot of us didn't have these kind of opportunities growing up. People who would make the time to offer you knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, motivation, and get you going. And I don't want you to take some of these things you're doing here or things you're hearing here lightly at all. For somebody, this could be your breakthrough into one of the wealthiest people who not only is wealthy in terms of resources, but also wealthy in terms of how he or she impacts generations to come. And what you take away here today must have a ripple effect. You must be able to pass that on, because others will not get this opportunity. Leverage on this. Let this be your platform for serious networking. I'm going to take full advantage of it. And if you're here in the agri business today, or in school doing agri today, and you are not aware of the immense impact you could have, agri, people say agri is the future. I say no, agri is the now. It is the now. Run with it. Run with it. I keep telling any young person who comes to me and says, I'm looking for a job, one of the first questions I ask, are you interested in agri in any shape or form? And they're, because you see, agri too is hard work. Unfortunately, most of us don't want to work hard. So if you are not ready to work hard, then perhaps you are not in this field. Everybody who wants to make an impact in this sector, you must be ready to get your hands dirty to work. Because even if you're talking about agri-photography, which I was like, hey, so there's something like that too. Of course, you will not just go and be working in a nice garden. Sometimes you've got to get your hands and feet dirty to get the right picture, isn't it? Yeah. So you must be determined to do this. When we were growing up, in the 70s, there was the Operation Feed Yourself. And so maybe only Auntie Esther and I would know Operation Feed Yourself. So I came from a home where backyard gardening was huge. In those days, GBC used to come and film us at home. Because when you came back from school, you would do your schoolwork, eat your lunch, whatever, and put on your garden boots and go into the garden. And I've always thrived on just going into a garden and pottering with soil and, having that sense of well-being. So if for nothing at all, it gives you a sense of well-being. And in COVID, it was an avenue for reducing anxiety. So people went into it not only because, oh, I don't have we are bored, lockdown, but because it really gave them that avenue for well-being. So for another person going into this sector, it's for mental well-being for people. So you take people through gardening because you're trying to give them that mental well-being. And so the opportunities are diverse and immense, and please take something away with you today and run with it. And like my new mentor has just said, courage. You need the courage. Let the courage guide you. And you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So get on with it.
Thank you so much. There's a last question, and then we wrap up the conversation. Are you having fun, guys? Awesome.
Thank you very much. So my question is to Mr. Jeffrey. So for your machinery, I want to know, for our small-scale farmers, some of them might not have enough money to purchase your machinery. So I want to ask, is there a loan system or something that you have provided for them so that they can purchase your machinery?
Jeffrey is smiling. He needs a loan.
Thank you very much for the question. Yes. So in previous times, we've tried to engage financial, we are not a loan institution. We are a manufacturing company that's seriously struggling. So the banks are the loan institutions, and we've made some attempts to get banks to help provide the financing for this equipment. I would say that for that one is still in the pipeline. Maybe from here, Stambik would get in line to be the backbone, to provide financing for agricultural equipment. But by the way, we also provide our machines as a service to smallholder farmers, where we allow them to use it and either pay in cash or in grain. So if we do about 20 bags for you and it costs 100 cedis, and you have a bag costs 200 cedis, and you have 2 bags of maize that will pay for it, you can just pay us in that. And so that's also one of the ways we have done to make our machines accessible. Thank you.
That answers your question, right? Awesome. So we are wrapping up. We'll take just a 1 minute last comments from our speakers. We'll start with Stanbic Bank. We'll come to Jeffrey, and then we'll wrap up with Alberta.
Okay. So what I will say about the question that the lady asked Jeffrey is that if you are starting out as a business, you will first have to look for what we call equity. All right, because we believe that equity is long term. You just don't approach the commercial bank that you are looking for a facility and that you are starting a business. Because the thing about commercial banks is that when we give you the loan, we expect monthly repayments on the facility. And usually the tenor that we grant is short term. But then for a startup, you need a lot of flexibility in order to grow. So you start by going out there with a business plan to look for an equity. You grow the business to a certain point, and then when you need short-term funding to get in maybe tools or equipment to continue your business, then you approach a financial institution like a commercial bank.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, your final words.
Yes. So at SATEC, there is this thing we say that we call it "you have it." So the "you have it" concept is we believing in the youth that you have what it takes to make the Africa we want. So the future you dream of, the future you see, we believe in you and we believe in ourselves that we have what it takes, but all it takes also is to have the discipline to learn and commit to hard work, and you will be successful at it. And at the end, we can all build a greener, wealthier Ghana. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Alberta.
I want to say a huge thank you again to Madam Esther Koba. I'm very passionate about it. It's not something I take for granted. She's been a huge mentor from a distance. I never met her. I always admired her, and just admiring her has contributed to me sitting here today, and I'm really appreciative. And I don't want us all to take this opportunity for granted. Let's admire from a distance if we cannot get close, and let's make the most out of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. On behalf of Strategic Communications Africa, the board of the Ghana Garden and Flower Movement, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for patronizing today's conference. It's been amazing. Yes? Has it been? All right, so our theme is towards a greener, healthier, wealthier, and a more beautiful Ghana. So that the competition and the awards is on Sunday. I'm sure you know. Jeffrey is the latest winner. He won last year, and you would want to be part of the competitions for the youth. And how many here wants to see Jesus? Because I want to see him. How many want to travel to Israel? Okay, awesome. So you have to be here on Sunday. Okay, you have to be on Sunday and be part of the program. All right, will you be here? Good, good, good. So you should come. Okay, so thank you to all of you for patronizing today's conference. I'm not leaving here the same. I'm sure all of you here have learned one thing or two, and that will help you and go a long way to impact your lives. I'd like to call on Samantha, University of Ghana. I told her to rehearse her prayer. She is helping us with a closing prayer. Let's welcome Samantha.
Shall we pray?
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this really fine opportunity for us to come and learn from people who have started this journey before us. We hope that everything we've learned here will benefit us positively in our lives as well as the lives of others in order to help Ghana as a whole and then the earth that you have created for us. We hope that everything we've done over here will yield positively as well. And Lord, as we are leaving here, we hope everyone arrives safely at their homes and thus giving all the glory and honor so that the program will continue successfully till the end. These and many more blessings we ask through your Son Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. How many here can sing? How many can sing? How many? Oh, even those who can sing, fine. There's a karaoke night starting right about now. You don't want to miss out. There's a karaoke night. Tomorrow we have a movie night. Yeah? Yes. So it's a whole packed event tonight throughout to Sunday. So please stay, whether you know how to sing or not. Please be part of the karaoke night. Tomorrow is the movie night. And it's on till Sunday. So packed event for you to enjoy. Once again, thank you very much. And please enjoy the rest of the programs lined up from now until Sunday. God bless you all. And thank you to Madam Esther Koba for this opportunity. Let's clap for her, guys. She's such an amazing human being. Yes, and the whole team. All right, so please, those be around, okay, and enjoy the karaoke nights. You know how to sing. Can you sing?
No, please.